Welcome, Exiles, to what will be the 5th time I am recording this video because I can't seem to remember to hit the record button, and I'm looking at it. I hit it this time, so help me if somehow by the end of this video I look down and it hasn't recorded. I'm gonna lose it because I've done this a few times. Anyways, this character we are optimizing, and by optimizing, simply put, we are getting bigger AoE. So it's quite simple. Bigger AoE, better build. And we did that by dropping Necromancer. Although Necromancer was a lot of fun, there was some cool things to be had, stacking Voltaxic burst stacks. Ultimately, it was only really a meme for how good Wardloop can be. And so we are moving on to the optimization stage. We are dropping Necromancer and we're picking up Elementalist for Heart of Destruction. Best AoE node in the game. 60% AoE, you can't go wrong. And then there's nodes like Mastermind of Discord, Giga Damage, we take those. Bastion of Elements, which is, hey, occasionally you don't die to one-shots, which is the biggest weakness to Wardloop builds. You can't really fit in a lot of mitigation layers into Wardloop builds. I'm going to try my darndest to get spell suppression in the build. I think it should be doable, but that's for a later date. And then Shaper of Winter. This node is absolutely crazy. With just one level 1 Phantasmal Ice Nova, the Phantasmal Ice Nova gives us a bit more chill effect. We get up to about 34% chills on bosses. I'm pretty sure I can optimize this to get 40% chills, which will end up meaning basically bosses move at half the speed. And bosses that move at half the speed really can't do much. Ultimately, it's probably not necessary because within a second, the bosses are dead because our damage has gotten significantly better. Because we've optimized. We've dropped passives for doing the Mistress of Sacrifice, 3 extra to Dust Jewels, and we've gone for straight damage and things like Arcane Capacitor, crit nodes, and one of my favorite clusters of passives that I didn't know existed, Enigmatic Reach. These nodes give about 40% AoE, and for a guy who's stacking AoE, that's fantastic, because this helps us get extra big circle, and we like that. Other things we've done is we've optimized for having a cast and damage taken build. A big part of this is adding in Shock Nova. Now, previously, I was doing the meme of having extra links for just casting Voltaxic Burst just to get the stacks up so my Voltaxic Burst would deal more damage, but ultimately, that was only ever going to be a meme, because with cast and damage taken builds, it's just so efficient to have 2 6-links and 2 6-link skills just going off constantly. Normally, with a spellcasting build, you can't really afford to do 2 spells at once. You can't do, like best case scenarios, you're doing something like Ice Nova and Frostbolt, where you have to cast Frostbolt and then cast the Ice Novas on top of it. But it's not like you're getting the damage from 2 spells both quite optimally. With cast and damage taken, we get them both pretty optimally, where Shock Nova is going off and Voltaxic Burst is going off, and they're both going off simultaneously, and we're both getting 6-link damage out of them. So that's what I mean by we've optimized a little bit for DPS. One of the other things we've done is we've added Awakened Increased AoE into both our links. Probably not the best damage link, but you'll see it's well worth it when it comes to single target. So, let's go ahead and get into a showcase. I have this Twisted Distant Memory because I've already done a Phoenix, a Hydra, and a Minotaur, and a different synthesis map, but apparently I don't know where the record button is, so now we're doing this thing, because we can. So, the way these maps always start off with is quite simple. You weapon swap to get your cast and damage taken loop going, and then you begin to travel around the map pretty simply, just walking. That's all this character really has to do. You just have to walk, you loot, it's a chill time, it's a good time. And then your AoE from Shock Nova and Voltaxic Burst just do the rest. Now, Voltaxic Burst, Shock Nova, I don't think they're the most optimal damage skills, but also, I don't think it really matters because of how strong Wardloop is. You can use basically any skill you want, and you're gonna deal good single target. Wardloop's kind of like Aura Stacker in the idea of it's super versatile. You can use whatever spell you want, and it's gonna work. It's gonna be good. There's, of course, going to be a best choice, because there are better skills, there are worse skills, that's a thing in PoE, but regardless, it will still work. Now, I need to remember, because I've forgotten basically every time I've done this showcase, to basically re-proc my cast and damage taken loop, because every time you go through a door, your cast and damage taken loop needs to be, I guess, restarted. Something with the coding on walking through doors turns off the loop. So that's something I am still learning to do and I keep forgetting to do on a regular basis, but eventually I'll get good at it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and show you what it looks like to do a boss fight here. Spawn this guy in real quick and you can get an idea of what our single target looks like when we are doing boss fights. So, single targets, it's pretty good. You just proc your focus, you just proc your Valrighteous Fire, you remember to put Sigil on the ground, and you deal good damage. On this map, we had reduced damage taken from crits, so he actually had a tank mod. But we still erased him. I don't think there's any other tank mods. Yeah, just reduced damage taken from crits. Oh, and I guess he technically could get endurance charges if he hit me, which would give him some res, but I don't think he hit me. So, moral of the story is, the damage is kind of disgusting. Obviously, Wardloop builds, they're pretty strong. This character is also high investment. This isn't something where I've put low investment and we deal giga damage. I think we maybe could make a lower investment version of a Wardloop build and still deal a decent amount of damage. I'm not sure I'm going to take the time to do that because there's other builds I have plans for, other things I want to do, and there's still other changes to this character itself I want to make. So, hopefully that gave you guys, I guess, a good overview on the changes we've made to the character, the improvements we've made to it, and how good Wardloop builds can be. I still have a few more ideas of things I want to optimize for, improvements I want to make, and I will either do a third update or I'll just do straight like a complete sort of build guide video for the last video on this character. I'm not 100% sure which one I want to do, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the Wardloop character so far in the making. As always, take care, Exiles. Peace out.